This incident took place in the summer of 2021. I was living with a good friend in Astoria, Queens, a childhood friend who to this day I love and care about deeply. I had just lost the house where I was living in Brooklyn due to my legal slash addiction slash COVID issues, but it was mostly my legal and my addiction issues. I was about 2 months out of rehab and struggling really bad. My friend, who I was living with, was also a school teacher and lived a fairly normal life. Me, on the other hand, that was not the case. I had fallen into a pretty deep depression. I was also out on supervised release federal, and I was just in a really bad place. That day was one of those very rare days in my life where I just didn't want to live anymore. I was just in such a dark world. I was in such a dark place. This was a few months before my cousin was murdered, and this is when I still had him in my life. I woke up that day very depressed and started drinking tequila without any food in my stomach. One thing about me is I am an isolationist, especially when I'm not doing well. I respectfully don't want anyone to have to deal with what I'm dealing with, so I do my best to cut myself off from as many humans as possible. That day by noon, I found myself at Astoria Park, and I really don't know why I ended up there. I'm not like a chill at the park kind of guy, but I was there and I was drunk. I was also in conflict with my friend, the school teacher who I was living with. We were going back and forth over text, and the messages got really ugly. And me being in my inebriated, insecure state, I decided it was a good idea to pack my bag and leave her place and go stay with my cousin in the Bronx for a few days. Another horrible decision, and this story is filled with horrible decisions. This was a time where I was also on a lot of medications that if I didn't have, I would get very sick. And I mean really sick. Suboxone, Seroquel, and gabapentin being just 3 of the medications I was on. Just your average Oasis dual diagnose starter pack. After a series of more angry texts back and forth with my friend, I decided I was going to leave her place. So I left the park and went back to her apartment and packed my stuff. My goal was to get in and get out before she got back from work, which I did. I packed some of my clothes and most of my meds